Advertise magazine.
If you rockin' with Jack Boy and Philly Freezer, everybody throw your hands up. It's the stimulus package, now throw your hands up. We give it back to the people, so throw your hands up.
So how's the tour road been treating you so far, sir?
It's interesting, man, because I'm one of them guys who, I'm in my house making beats all the time. So
Right.
I don't usually get to see the interaction or just even the reaction from like playing a certain song or the beat or people like jumping up and screaming. So it definitely it's cool to see what's working and what isn't, and it gives me something to think about when I go back home.
This was your first is this your first time on like a major tour like this, or is it?
I've done a lot of spot dates here and there. Sometimes I'll do DJ gigs where I just play my stuff, but definitely the first time I've done something of this magnitude, featuring me, so it's cool.
Do you have experience before? I mean, like doing like line share production on the whole album. What's it like to actually go and collaborate on the whole album, with one artist and stuff?
It's dope because with this thing, we really got to shape it from the ground up and make it into what we both wanted. So, a lot of the bigger things I've done, I send somebody a beat and I hear it when it comes out, and I'm not even really involved in that side of it. So, that's the part I really appreciate about it.
So, do you like it? Do you prefer just going and sitting down and working on the whole album? Back
I think I do now. Depending on who the artist is. If I'm working with somebody I don't really fuck with, it might be different. But I probably wouldn't even get to the point of even doing that. It's definitely been good.
So, explain how this whole album kind of, first of all, how it came about. Second of all, how you put it together.
Basically, me and Free were working on songs for Free at Last, and then the next record, and it just kind of snowballed into like a project. Like we kept doing songs and just kept turning out dope. So like this, he was gonna do a third album. I was gonna do most of it anyway. So he's like, you should just do the whole album. But, he, for whatever reason, trusts my instinct of what I think is good too. So he actually listens to my criticism of the songs and stuff, which is different.
So how'd you guys hook up with Rhymesayers? I know you did stuff, White Man.
I've basically been working with Rhymesayers for a minute, so I did some of the songs and I sent them to them and they were fucking with them. So it just, they were big fans of Freeway, so it just kind of seemed like a natural fit.
Right. Well, as a producer, you work with all types of artists around the gamut, like someone like Free. You do stuff like with Gift to Gab. I think you did like half of his album.
Yeah.
You did like a whole. You did a whole like casual like album. We were talking about doing
we did, yeah. He's out there right now. We worked on a bunch of stuff. Never really came out all the way. One of the joints was off my album, Feeling My Shit. That was one of the records from there. So we did a project. It hasn't really come out, but yeah. Free was the first thing I did with one rapper. So.
Well, I was just saying you work with 4 different styles. Like Free is certainly he's more. I don't know if I'd say he's certainly considered more. What's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more street type of rapper.
Definitely.
And like, Gift to Gab is somebody who's a little bit more underground background. Do you feel like you have a different dynamic with how you work with these guys?
A lot of it is just the beats they gravitate towards and what they put on it. So when I was doing Gift to Gab, that's when Freeway first album came out. I was killing that shit. That was like my favorite thing out. So I was coming from that mind frame, even doing that shit. So
right.
It's so much of it is on the artist and what they put, on top of it.
I heard that. So you got any plans for which you doing the whole type of like one album, one artist collaborations feature? Or you think
me and Free will probably put another one out, and I'm doing white band music too, which is gonna help me on that. And I'm working, with superstars and non-superstars, so everything. I'm continue to do what I do.
Anyone you can comment on right now?
Nah, because when you deal with people of that magnitude, they don't like people that know really what's going on. But I've been lucky to really work with some of my idols and some of the most.
Who was the most like, damn, I worked with him? That moment you had.
It's a hard one, man. Probably when I first worked with Daylock, because that was just a shock to me. So.
Right.
And then just becoming to the point where, having a personal relationship with him, that's crazy, to know Poss, like I know him, is weird, like up listening to his music.
Is there any artists you want to be working with that you haven't had a chance to reach out to yet?
That's a hard one, man. I've really touched
Just about everybody.
a lot of the artists I want to work with, but me and Knots are working on Scarface's new thing. So I worked with him before I did Hide on his last album, but I'm just a super fan of him, so I want to try to bring something out of that.
Cool. Are you gonna continue working with Rhyme Sayers? Or?
Definitely. Yeah, I got my new album, White Band Music, hopefully coming. White Band Music 2 coming out.
So is that gonna be like a compilation like the last one? Is it the same type of thing, I guess, tracks?
Yeah, but I'm even gonna make it a little more unpredictable this time, where you might see the Birdman on a song with Doom or something. I don't know. I want to do shit like that. So we'll see.
I heard that. Well, I guess that's one thing I wanted to ask. Is it used to be cats would go and record the album in the same place at the same time. Now cats are so spread out.
It's all through email. Yeah.
It's all through emails. I'm sure if you ever, or I think it's called. Are there any of the Sook cuts that you worked on ever like, okay, both of y'all in the studio, or has it all been?
There were some records off Free's album we did that way. On my last album, Home was the only song I was even there for.
Really?
That's a lot of people's favorite songs. So
It's a dope song. I love how you sampled Richie Rich on that shit.
That's one of my, 4 and 5 is probably one of my favorite albums ever to come out of the Bay. So I was like a freshman in high school when that dropped. I know all the lyrics to that shit. I was living in Oakland for a while. I'm from Seattle, born and raised. So we always supported the Bay, and that's what I was really grew up on. I didn't even really grow up on East Coast hip hop the way I grew up on Totally Insane, RBL, and stuff like that. Chunk. That in Seattle, that was the big shit when I was coming up.
It makes a lot in Seattle. Bro.
Makes a lot of ways, but he's kind of a generation older than me, so it's like we've seen him around. He clearly had some great records, but for whatever reason, I gravitated towards something else.